Yeah, obviously Baylor is a terrific basketball team, as much size as we've probably seen this year. Very good offensive rebounding team, very good post-feed offense team. So we have our work cut out for us as far as, mitigating that size as best we can. We've been an energy team all year, an effort team all year. We're really hopeful that, whatever we do tactically, we can also supplement with incredible energy and effort and kind of overcome whatever kind of deficiencies may be there. So that's really the gist of what we're trying to do. Excited to be here, obviously, in this city and in this forum, but also hopeful that, what we've done to get here we'll continue to be able to do on a bigger stage so people can kind of respect and appreciate the team that we have.
Questions? Right in back of you.
Andy Morgan, NBC in El Paso. Coach Weir, your first season as a head coach, but you've been through this experience as an assistant. What did you learn through those experiences as an assistant here in the tournament that you're kind of carrying over now as a head coach?
To be totally honest with you, I've told a few people this. Being an assistant coach does not really prepare you to be a head coach very well. When you're assistant coach, you think you have all the answers. You think you know what it's like. You think you'll make all the right decisions. And then when you become a head coach, you realize it's brand new territory. So this year's been a very fruitful journey for me, just learning a lot of different things and kind of going through a lot of these experiences. Do you take notes? Do you have things? We did some different things at our conference tournament we haven't done in the past. We did some subtle things here differently preparing for this that maybe we haven't done in the past. But, I'm going into this with a lot of lessons to be learned and things to kind of grow from as well. And I don't want to sit here and pretend that I have all the answers of how things are going to be different.
Yeah, Cliff Brunt, Associated Press. How does having players from so many different places across the world impact the team and improve the experience?
That's a great question. I think basketball as a whole is becoming so much more diverse. I think when you look at the diversity of the NBA, I think college athletics is really quickly coming behind. The growth of not just the Canadian players, but all these different countries has really made basketball a global game. Its expansion in so many other countries around the world inevitably that's where basketball is headed. So I think college athletics is a little bit further behind getting there. But I think as years pass and generations kind of come through, it'll just becoming more diverse every year. So I think it's a great experience for these basketball players. A lot of the good ones get to go play professionally, which means they're going to be in another country anyways. And I think it's been very fruitful for us as well.
Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal. Paul, you talked about Motley earlier in the week. You've been able to watch a lot more film since we spoke earlier in the week. Anything you see?
KenPom stats or no?
No KenPom stats
Okay.
today for you. But what do you, now that you've watched even more film about Motley, and any ideas now on what you're going to do to contain a guy like him?
Yeah, Jeff, probably the best post player we've seen this year was Tim Williams, and he's a terrific basketball player. I know he had kind of some injuries and some different things happen, but we had to play him twice. So, we've gone into games really trying to take away post players and putting game plans in place to hopefully do that. So that's really what we spent a lot of time on. It's not necessarily just him. They're big, they're strong, they like to play through the post, and we've had to really spend a lot of time on our post defense, whether it's post feeds or when it gets there on the catch.
Is there similarities to Tim other than just being the best post maybe you saw earlier this year? Or is Motley not as much of a back to the basket like Tim is?
No, there are some differences as far as their particular characteristics, but it's just as far as the emphasis on a really good post player, that's probably the last time we've had to do it.
Mark Rohde, Los Cruces News. Paul, while you guys have been here 5 of the past 6 years, Ian's pretty much the only one on your team who's played really meaningful minutes in a tournament game. You guys have leaned on his leadership all year. How much is his leadership going to be key in this game for you guys?
It's one game, so unfortunately we really don't have a lot of time for it. We kind of went through that a little bit in the WAC tournament. We kind of went through it all year. It was really the first time a lot of these guys, even though the returners are on our roster, had been through things. So, we're going to have to grow up in a hurry tomorrow, and we don't really have time for some of those other guys to get through whatever it is like we did in the WAC tournament.
Left-hand side, Paul.
John Warner, Waco Tribune Herald. Baylor has lost to lower-seeded teams the last 2 years. Do you use that as an example to your team, or you just focus more on this season?
Yeah, to be totally honest with you, we're just preparing for them the best we can. We really don't get into a lot of those other things.
Jack Nixon, Aggie Sports Network. Throughout the year, your team has had the only game is the next game mentality. How do you think that's helped you get ready for this sort of a situation, please?
Yeah, I mean, that was another thing that I kind of adopted that I didn't really know where it was going to go at the beginning of the year. We didn't talk about beating a rival or winning a WAC tournament or winning a WAC championship or whatever it may be. We just literally talked about that day and the next game, and that's how we've approached every single day all year. And then once the Bakersfield game ended, it was immediately we're getting ready for the next game and preparing for that. So, you know, I can't even tell you who we may play. All I've been focused on is Baylor, and that's all we're working on right now. And I guess at the end of the season, we'll reflect and look back and, you know, maybe tinker some things going forward. But the one day at a time mentality is something we've really done, and it's gotten us to this point, so we'll take it as far as it goes.
Luke Liddon, ABC7 El Paso. Talk about how you hope to counter Baylor's height and length with possibly the team's speed and athleticism.
Yeah, I mean, that's really going to be, I think, the gist of the entire game, you know, who's able to kind of implement their style better. We obviously want to use our style of play, our effort, our energy. We've kind of hung our hat on that all year long, and that's going to hopefully negate whatever advantages they may have for size and even on the glass. So if we're able to do it the way we want to do it, I think we'll be pleased with how the game unfolds, and if we can't, then I think they will be.
You guys obviously no stranger to the NCAA tournament. Do you see this as an opportunity to kind of put New Mexico State and your brand of basketball on the map?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, we've been trying to do that all year long. You know, we went into the season with a lot of people doubting us, losing Pascal. CBS picked us 163rd and spelled my name wrong. So we've had our doubters all year long as far as what this team can and can't do. And, you know, we beat a Power 5 team for the first time in nearly 25 years. We beat our rival for the first time at home in nearly 10 years. We did that with a rookie head coach and one senior. We lost our leading scorer to injury and obviously Pascal to the draft. So we've dealt with people thinking we can't accomplish things all year long. We've really never listened to any of them. The guys in the locker room and us, we believe in each other. And tomorrow when the ball goes up, we're just going to fight to the death and give it everything we got.
Down here on the left, Paul.
Coach Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider. The familiarity factor, you guys didn't play him this year, but you had played him the 2 previous years. Does that affect your preparation? Does that matter in a tournament game like this?
You know, we have not taken really any time this year to worry about previous seasons or previous games. It's really been about making this team and our journey together. So there may be for someone like Ian, who's kind of been on the court with them and stuff like that, but this team is so new. We have a lot of new faces, and even the returning faces were never really part of our rotation in years past. So we really haven't spent any time talking about what happened in previous games. It's about looking at our film and our preparation this year with this team, you know, in comparison to what Baylor's doing this year with this team.
Anything else for the head coach? Second row.
Paul, you guys have been a pretty good three-point shooting team this year. You talked a little about this week that they're a very good defensive three-point shooting team, or three-point, you know, good at defending the three-pointer with their size and length. What do you guys try and do to get, you know, good looks at the basket? Is just kind of, you know, getting your opportunities at the three-point shot?
Jeff Grammer's Ken Palm account would say we're not a great three-point shooting team, but we do have, we're you know, in that light, we're both incredibly similar. I touched on that this week. You know, they have a top 25 three-point defense. We have a top 25 three-point defense. They have a top 25 offensive rebounding percentage. We have a top 25 offensive rebounding percentage. They do a really good job of slowing the game defensively and getting long possessions. We do the exact same thing. They've had issues creating turnovers, and at times we have as well. So we're remarkably similar in how we execute our various kind of styles of play. We just go about it in much different different ways. But there's no mistake about it. We're going to have to make some shots. And I think the lulls we've just had issues with shot selection. And Braxton and Ian are two guys that have to make sure they take the right shots. Our shot chart, when we've kind of struggled in games offensively, is when Ian and Braxton just shoot much more than everybody else. And we've thrived ourselves on balance all year, and they have to be patient and let the game come to them. I thought Ian and Braxton really, in the WAC tournament, kind of epitomized who we are and what we've tried to be about all year. They were just patient. And, a lot of and really, Braxton never even really got a shot off. But Ian made a lot of his shots late, and they didn't go out really just trying to force the game onto them. They let the game kind of come to them. So as long as we have really good balance and we stay patient offensively, I feel good about our ability to at least take the right shots. And we don't talk about whether a shot goes in or not. We just talk about the quality of the shot, both defensively and offensively. If they take the shots we want them to take and they happen to go in, then you just kind of pat them on the butt and say good job. But if we take the shots that they want us to take, then that's not something we want, whether they go in or not.
On the corner.
Paul, I know you've been doing a ton of radio this week, TV spots, a lot of media. Kind of breaks the routine when you come to the NCAA tournament. I've listened in on some of those radio interviews, and it seems like a lot of the questions to you are about master's degrees, about first-year coach, about being from Canada, not much about the team. Sure. Anything surprise you, or are you kind of expecting this time of year, not a lot of people outside of the New Mexico stamp really know much about your team?
Yeah, I think that's expected. It's our team's job to maybe hope those people notice those things. I feel bad that only two guys get to come up. I feel bad that these guys all can't be here with me. We've done this thing from day one as a team, and hopefully we'll finish this thing as a team. It's and understandably so, but hopefully now it's our opportunity to show everyone what our team's about and how it is we got here when the odds were completely stacked against us.